more personal level, you know, when it comes to anything new and anything to do with change, our brains are just trying to keep us safe. So what I would probably hazard a guess at is that there is some kind of unresolved trauma in
Mm.
someone's past, where it can be, you know, and trauma is a spectrum. It's a scale, just like anything else. I'm not talking about like, you know, the life and death of it all. But like I
Mm.
mentioned, those small T traumas, the little ones that affect you personally, it might have been, you know, you could have been up for an opportunity, and maybe in your example of the person who said that, oh, I live in Adelaide, you might have been up for an opportunity in the past and you didn't get it because you weren't living in the right place, or you couldn't, you know, move or
Mm.
whatever. Your brain has clocked that and said these kinds of opportunities aren't safe. They're not safe for
Mm.
me. They're not for me. So the next time you're presented, if you don't create a bit of like a pause or a gap
Mm.
long enough to actually assess whether this is right for you, your brain will immediately say no, because it's got the past evidence, right? It has got that
Yes.
negative past evidence. Now, the way that we can work to overcome that, because neuroplasticity, our brains are beautiful, they can change, is we start to build a bank of positive evidence. We look for those ones and we reinforce this as often as we can, because like our brains change through repetition. So that's why, like, also you might be going for the wrong opportunities because it confirms the fact that you won't have to change. So,
Yes.
you know, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of energy and a lot of focus and bucket loads of like grit, I'd probably say, more than anything else, um, to recognize and go, oh, this is a pattern. And you can, like, we are all just like walking patterns, you know, walking patterns, walking programs. But when it comes to, yeah, anything new, even specifically in the creative process, so many artists, so many people stop themselves from like trying to create the course, trying to create the business, because that's going to put them into uncertainty.
Mm.
And uncertainty, it's the realm of creativity, but also we have to feel safe in order to create. So there's this really, like, really fine line between, you know, getting into the creative process. Once you're in it, it's super generative, but that initial first part where you've got to kind of shunt yourself into it,
Yeah.
is really scary. And you know, you do have to, I, you know, sort of talk about with clients creating these rituals of safety, which are going to be different for everyone. But the one thing they have in common is it's usually all around the senses. So, like, if you're sitting in front of your computer and the email pops up, like it's that really aggressive, um, you know, immediate dopamine hit. But if we can put ourselves into a place where we've sort of down regulated our nervous system a little bit through music, through a little bit of movement, through smells, sounds, and taste, and we figure out the combination that makes us feel the most expanded, like, that's the place that we need to go for opportunities from, not this like hustle, scarcity, you know, I need to get my name out there place. It's like
Mm.
understanding that actually I don't need to get my name out there, but I need to make myself feel big enough that I can invite in all those opportunities.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. I love that differentiation between, yeah, I need to go out and make this happen, and that, and it even feels aggressive saying that versus expansive. I am amazing. I am open to opportunities and watch them flow in. It's just such a more calm and open and expansive way to think about things. And I just feel like it's also inviting in a lot more. When you've got that energy of pushing and chasing and aggression, I think
Mhm.
other people feel that.
Yeah, it's not a nice vibe to be putting out into the world. But I'm also not saying that you need to sit back and, you know, just wait for the opportunities to come to you. No, it's about getting to know yourself on such a deep level that you know exactly the kinds of opportunities that you want to invite in and the ones that you have capacity for. Because
Mm.
it's, you know, life is all about timing. You know, it really is. Like, you can, you know, something that you get offered 5 years ago that you get offered now would have been perfect for you now, but it was wrong back then, you know? So
Mm.
again, coming back to this idea of the spiral, just because you miss out on something on one loop of the spiral, it doesn't mean you're not going to get offered it again and again. And things come back. This is what I've learned. Things come back in the wildest ways. Like you might have like quit that job like 10 years ago. And then like, 5 years from now, the person who worked in the cubicle next to you might be sitting there going like, "Oh, we've got this great thing, this project we want to run. Actually, you know who I think would be perfect for that?" You know?
Yes. Yep.
So I think there's like part of the expansion piece is like building the self-trust muscle. And I've just, I've put myself through the ringer with this for the last year, being in that really negative, gross, nothing's happening, I'm a failure space, and you
Mm,
have to go through that. Like you can't not have those thoughts and not have those feelings, because when you can actually sit in the darkness of all those like huge like feelings, when you move through them, like the lightness on the other side of that, it's like a whole other level. It's like a whole other experience.